How are you? Well, if you are new or our guest or forgetful, my name's Bryan. I am the middle school pastor here, and we are so excited that you're here, and I am so unbelievably happy that you got to witness Bobbing for Peeps. So thank you so much. One of my favorite CSM things. Everyone that did it is like, I hate you, you're dead to me. Everyone else, totally worth it. So I remember when I was back in Bible college, I loved scaring people. Who likes scaring people? Yeah. Yes. So my boss, I had what was called servanthood, which is their way of making us do free manual labor. And I was on security. And so I remember my boss saying, hey, I have an idea, let's scare Stumps. And I said, okay. Stumps was a guy, last name, he wasn't like missing a digit. It was his last name, I asked. And so we decided, okay, we're gonna scare Stumps. And so there's two lodges at Bible college. There was a Fellowship Lodge and Stone Lodge, and there's other ones, but those were the two that were like freaky deaky Dutch. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like the buildings you walk into, you're like, this place is weird. Those were those places. And so they had like weird stucco on the walls, like buildings built in like the it was just weird. And so there were rumors about these places being scary at night and all this stuff. And so as security, we were tasked with locking down every building. And what that meant was like we'd go into Fellowship Lodge and we would go through, there's like 150 rooms upstairs and downstairs. And we would have to go through every single room, close the slider, lock it, draw the blinds, walk back out, lock that door, do that 150 times, and then we would lock the outside doors, okay? So my boss is like, hey, next week, I need you to dress in all black. It's like, deal. And then he said, you're going to put your radio on a different channel, and we're going to talk, and we're going to figure this out. And so what happened was my buddy Stumps locked down Fellowship Lodge. And like 5 minutes after, my boss calls him on the radio and says, hey, we got a noise complaint for something going down at Fellowship Lodge. Can you go check it out? And so he's like, oh, I was just there. It was probably just me, but yeah, I'll go check it out. While that was happening, I snuck into Fellowship Lodge, unlocked one of the rooms, left the door open so you could see it from outside, and I walked in and laid down between two of the beds that were in the room. Okay, so I'm laying there, it's dark, I'm kind of freaked out because I'm alone in a scary room, all by myself, in the dark, but it's worth it, right? And so I'm laying there, and I turn my radio off, and I hear Stumps come to the door and kind of hit the doors. I'm like, no, they're locked. And then I heard him say over the radio, one of the doors is open inside. We just locked all of them. So my boss, who's in on it, is like, dude, you got to go check it out. He's like, you don't pay me enough to do this. And so he walks in, and like I could hear him doing one of those like, right? And he like, here. And my boss on the radio now is saying, dude, you got to go in and make sure that the slider is locked. So I'm laying there. So Stumps is like, well, he has one of those flash, like the big mag lights, like the day ender mag lights. You know what I'm talking about? And so he walks, he's doing one of these things, and he's walking, and he decides, okay, forget it. I'm going fast. I don't want to be here anymore. So he starts walking quickly. When he passes me, I don't make a sound. All I do is reach out and grab his ankle. Yeah. Stumps does one of these things. Yeah! Is ready to dome me with this day ender. Like, dude, he would have put me in the ground. And so I'm like, no, dude, Stumps, it's me. I never actually saw a Bible college student swear at me, but I have a feeling that was as close as I was going to get. Like, he looked at me and was just like, dude didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I saw him every day for our Genesis class. 2 weeks. Hey, Stumps. Just walked by. It's like, dude, I scared the bejesus out of Stumps. But I messed up because I did it in the beginning of the school year. And so the rest of the school year, I'm just like, hey, man, where's Stumps? Seriously, like, where? Have you seen Stumps? He's right. Okay, cool. I was terrified the rest of the week or the rest of the school year because I didn't know where Stumps was. I love that I know a guy named Stumps, by the way. But we get scared from time to time. And there's a story in the Bible that there was some scared happening. All right? In Matthew chapter 14, starting in verse 22. It says, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Just means you couldn't see it. Okay. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. Get out of church mode. Walking on the lake. If you're in a boat and some dude walks out to you. Yeah. Okay. But Jesus so shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, take courage, it is I, don't be afraid. You still walked on water, I'm a little scared. Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on the water. Come, he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat. Are you serious right now? You couldn't see the boat because the waves were so big. And then they see a dude walking on the water, and they're scared. It's like, Lord? Like, please? Right? He's like, come. He's like, yeah, all right, and climbs out of the boat. Are you crazy? You don't get out of the boat. And so he gets out of the boat. But when he began to walk on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, Lord, save me. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You of little faith, he said, why did you doubt? Personally, I would have expected an attaboy, like, hey, you got out of the boat. Yeah, and when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshiped him, saying, truly, you are the Son of God. Pray with me really quick. Jesus, I pray that we would know who you are. And God, I pray that we would know your voice. God, help us to be yours and unafraid. God, I pray this in your name. Amen. So, we have this unbelievable story. Truly unbelievable. And my question is, who doubted in this story? Who doubted? Peter. How about everybody? Everybody except Jesus in this story doubted. Every single one of them. Peter doubted, but he got out of the boat. Like, props to Peter. Are you kidding me? All of the other disciples are cowering in the boat. And Jesus says, come. Peter's like, that's all I need. And he gets out of the boat. James 2:26 says, For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. My main idea for tonight is faith without works is dead. But I'm going to take it a step further. In your bookmark, go ahead and do me a favor. Cross out the word works. Or sorry, not works. Faith without works. Yeah, works. Cross out the word works. And I want you to write the word risk. Faith without risk is dead. Because our works so often take risk. That we need to be able to risk everything, or sometimes we need to be able to risk just something when it comes to our faith with God. Faith without risk is dead. See, Peter got out of the boat. But what did the other disciples do? They cowered and cried. Sure. And we are always so quick to be like, well, Peter doubted, he sank. Yeah, you're right. He did sink. Did the disciples sink? No. But did the disciples get to meet Jesus out on the water? No. Like, yeah, Peter might have doubted, but man, it was a different kind of doubt. Because so often we're like, man, it is safe in the boat. You don't understand. Out there is nutty. I don't want it. I'm going to stay here, safe in the boat. I love C.S. Lewis. He wrote a book, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it's not a movie. It is a movie, but he didn't write the movie. And he wrote the book, and so there's a line in there where C.S. Lewis is describing Aslan. And Aslan is God in this book, right? And so describing God, C.S. Lewis puts it this way. He says, safe, said Mr. Beaver. Who said anything about safe? Of course he isn't safe, but he's good. I love that because God is not safe. He's good. Man, there is times where we need to risk to see where Jesus is going to take us, to see where we can be. I don't know about you guys, but I want to be where Jesus is. And can I be honest? He's not in the boat. He's out on the water, which means we got to get out of the boat, which is terrifying. I get it. But if we want to be where Jesus is, he's out on the water. He's not in the boat. So our first fill-in is abandoned ship. Abandoned ship. Summer camp 2 years ago for high school, we abandoned a boat. Yeah, we had a houseboat trip, and no joke, the boat just didn't start. At the end of our trip, we had a boat that just didn't start, and we're like, well, I guess we're going to abandon a ship today. That's cool. By law, you're only supposed to have 14 occupants on a moving vessel. We had 27. Yeah. We were going slow. And water was kind of coming in through the back. But we abandoned a boat because it was our best option. We abandoned ship, and we got to the marina. The guy's like, hey, man, where's your fourth boat? It's like, I don't know, somewhere back there. They're like, what cove is it in? The rocky one? We've been here for 3 days. I don't know what things are called around here. And so he tried yelling at us because we had too many people on the boat, and it was unsafe. But we abandoned ship, and so many times in our lives, we need to be willing to abandon ship. We need to be willing to abandon ship. We need to be willing to abandon the ship of comfort or of complacency. We need to be willing to abandon the ship of our own ease, if that means that we're going to be where Jesus is. Because he's not in the safety of the boat. He's not safe, but he's good. And we know he's good because he rescues. Jesus rescues. Peter had this opportunity to be rescued by Jesus. Martin Luther put it this way. He said, a religion that gives nothing, costs nothing, and suffers nothing is worth nothing. Yeah, this is the guy that is responsible for us having Bibles in our laps today. This is a guy who unabashedly loved Jesus, and he said, a religion that gives nothing, costs nothing, and suffers nothing is worth nothing. And believe me, I get it. The stormy waters are scary. They are. I don't do water. If you know me at all, the ocean is no bueno for Bryan. I don't like the water. Waves are scary. The water, the storm, it's scary. But you know what? If that's where Jesus is, that's where I want to be. And I want to be put in a position to be rescued by him. Your second point is, are you scared to death or scared to action? See, fear works very strangely. Fear can be debilitating. Fear can be paralyzing. You can be so scared that you don't know what to do, and you just sit there and you just don't move. But there's another kind of fear. There's another kind of fear that is actually equipping. There's a kind of fear that causes you to go more, to go faster, to go harder, to make sure that you get it done. There is a fear that is compelling. Are you willing to be that one? Are you willing to have the fear that moves you to action instead of paralyzing you? Do you have the opportunity to do that? And then are we willing to do it? I live for adventure. My client partner and I, we have shirts that say our motto, safety third. Okay? I love that shirt. I lost it. If you want to find me another one, I'll wear it. But and everyone would ask, well, if your motto is safety third, what's first? Adventure. Everyone knows that. What's second? More adventure. I love adventure. I met my climbing hero and legend, Royal Robbins. Okay, this is the guy that is the first to have ever climbed Half Dome, ever. It's a 2,000-foot rock that he spent 10 days climbing. This guy is a god in the outdoor, like, climbing world. And I met him. It's like a little girl meeting in One Direction. I'm like, and I handed him a picture of him. Yeah. Like, you're that guy. And I handed it to him, and I had him sign it. It's hanging in my office. If you've seen it, it says, I had him sign it, Seek Adventure. Because I couldn't think of a better thing. It's like, dude, like, can you write on there, Seek Adventure? And then he looked at me, he's like, dude, that was good. It's like, yes, Royal Robbins might remember me. But I live for adventure, yet, man, when it comes to my faith, so often, adventure terrifies me. I want to live adventurous. I want to have this adventurous life. I want good stories. But when it comes to Jesus, we're like, I don't want to really offend that guy. And we need to get out of the boat. We need to get out, and we need to be scared to action, because that is what Jesus calls us to. The thing that is unique about Peter over the other disciples is Peter had an opportunity to be rescued by Jesus, and the other disciples did not. Which means Peter got a chance to be with Jesus just that much longer. He got a chance to tell a story later. Can you imagine the two different stories that you got out of this event? You have Peter, who was like, dude, we thought we saw a ghost, and then I walked on water, and then Jesus like reached down and pulled me out of the water, and it was awesome. And you have the disciples who were like, dude, it was nuts. The storm was so crazy. And then like with the wind and the waves, and then we saw a ghost. I'm like, yeah, then what happened? Well, it wasn't really a ghost. It was Jesus. And then he came and the wind stopped and it was cool. And I think I peed a little. Who are you more likely to follow? The guy who got rescued by Jesus, or the guys who were wondering if it was him? We need to put ourselves in a position to be rescued by Jesus. And that means we take risk. That means we tell that person that we don't want to talk to about Jesus. It means we bring Jesus home with us. It means when our parents ask, how was youth group, you tell them about Jesus and what he's doing. It means when your friends say like, why can't you ever hang out Tuesday nights? You can say, oh man, I go to youth group and meet Jesus there. You should come with me and meet him too. Our faith takes risk. And the greatest part about that risk is even if we fail, guess who's there to help us up? Man, I want to be rescued by Jesus. I don't want to be wondering if he's there. So the question at the bottom of your bookmarks, the question, and I hope that you go home and you ponder this, you think about this, intently you think about this. Will I be rescued or wondering? Will I be rescued or wondering? Am I going to be rescued by Jesus, or am I going to be staying in the safety of my boat, wondering if it's really him out there? If it's really him calling me, if it's really him doing all of these things, if it's really him rescuing my friends, or do you want to be the one that's rescued? Do you want to be the one that gets a chance to hold Jesus' hand because he pulls you up out of the water and says, man, you got out of the boat. Good job. Keep your eyes on me next time. And then you get to try again. Man, I want to be out there. I want to be where Jesus is. And I wish I could tell you that he was in the safety of the boat, but he's not. He's out on the water. And we need to get out of the freaking boat sometimes. We need to be able to say, yeah, this boat is nice, but I want to be where Jesus is. Oh, Jesus, I do pray that we can be where you are. God, I pray, desperately, personally, I pray that I would be a risk taker for you. God, that I would live for adventure because you are who you say you are, and that you are willing and ready and able to rescue. God, don't let us stop and be content with where we are, but let us move forward. Let us move forward with who you are. Let us move forward in all power and authority to be where you are. God, I pray that we would be risk takers and that we would be adventurers for your cause. Praise to your name. Amen.